All right, I want to take a little time and go over what our next video series is going to be on. So it's on home inspections, and what we're looking at are things that, and the way that whenever you look at a property, you can tell either things that are out of place, need to be corrected, could cause a problem in the future. So I broke this down into 13 videos, and we're going to start off with the grounds. So that's going to be anything as you walk up, anything that grows outside or the grade from the house, plants, that type of stuff. We're going to go through that. Concrete, from the exterior concrete, we will look at that and also look at foundations, that type of stuff. Exterior surfaces, we will talk about siding and brick and windows, and we'll look at a lot of that from the outside to see if there's any water damage or potential water damage. We will look at roofing, and we'll talk about what makes a good roof and what to check to make sure that yours is sufficient and that it's still got a lot of life left in it, and that and if there's any issues, we will try to uncover those. We'll talk about the chimney because this is a big item. There's actually a whole section in the code for that. So we'll talk about the chimneys. Obviously, you have the potential for fire, but along with that, a lot of times chimneys are where we have roof leaks up around where the chimney goes through the roof at the cricket. So we'll talk about that and talk about what a cricket is. We'll talk about the kitchen because the kitchen is, a lot of people call it the heart of the home, and I believe that too. So we'll talk about the kitchen because there's so many things that go on there, from electrical to water for the plumbing and ventilation, and then appliances. And we will talk about how to check those and make sure that they're working properly. We'll go through the interior of the house and look at trim work and some paint, and we'll talk about doors and stuff on the inside and make sure that things are working there. We'll talk about home safety and security, and we will make sure that the house is able to be secured when you're there or when you're not there. We will go through HVAC. We will look at the HVAC systems and do a visual inspection of those. This is not going to be a part where we would actually put gauges on it or check to make sure that part is working properly. That would have to be a certified, authorized HVAC technician, because when you're dealing with Freon, that's regulated by the EPA, so never try to test that yourself. You should get a professional to take care of that. We'll look at electrical. We'll make sure that items are working. We'll look at the panel. We'll make an observation of that. But depending on the age of the house, that comes into play too, depending on what kind of electrical system you have. We'll look at the plumbing, which is a big item, and can be very expensive if you have to replace it. So we will look at if there's a crawl space, we will crawl up under the house. If there's a basement, we will go in the basement, and then we will figure out where the cleanouts are, and we will go through plumbing. And then we'll talk about the structural part of the house, and we will look around to see if we see any structural issues that are showing up, from cracks in the foundation to settling to we'll go through, and I'll show you what to be looking for in the structural area. And then lastly, we'll kind of sum everything up as we'll give a summary of what the house, how the house came out. Is it and at that point, we'll talk about if you did have to fix some items, maybe how to find out what those costs are. If you need contractors, how to talk about a contractor agreement and stuff like that. So, all right, so that's what our video series on home inspections is going to be about. So